Howdy folks, welcome back to Learning Lost Skills. Today I want to show you something really cool, some new science, and teach you about how you can make some of the healthiest jerky ever, completely plant-based. This is mushroom-based, not beef, not venison, and it has just a massive amount of vitamin D2 in it. There's been some recent studies that show if you take your mushrooms, put them out anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours to 12 hours or more. There's a compound in here called agarostol. I might not have pronounced that right, but it's close. Anyway, that is a precursor to create vitamin D2. By placing them gills or pores up, you're going to seriously increase the amount. There's a famous mycologist named Paul Stamets. He did some research with shiitake mushrooms, and in his work he found that starting with about 1,000 units of D2 per every 100 grams of shiitake mushrooms, he puts them out 6 hours one day, 6 hours the next day, and they went from 100 units of D2 to 46,000, and that's a huge bump. So let's do that. Okay, now you can do this with any kind of mushroom. You can use store-bought mushrooms, like portobellos, even the little button mushrooms. I'm using wild hen of the woods mushrooms. They're a bugger to clean, so I've already gone ahead and cleaned this. And I actually set these out yesterday, so they're about halfway dry. But they've been out in the full sun. Like I said before, 15 minutes is going to help. 2 hours is going to be a big help. And 12 hours, yeah, it really shoots up. So the next thing we need to do is we need to cook these mushrooms before we start making the jerky. Any kind of mushroom needs to be cooked. It's just, you got to be safe. So it's just a simple matter. I'm going to pot these up. We'll come back and boil them. I'm going to boil these for right about 10 minutes. So we'll see ya while that's going on. Okay guys, once you have a good boil rolling, you need to come in and kind of stir things around every little bit. We're going to set a timer for 10 minutes and they'll be done. But we want to make sure everybody gets cooked. Well, while that timer's ticking down, let's go ahead and get the marinade made. We're going to marinate this overnight, gallon bag in the fridge, pretty simple. Sorry, got about a couple tablespoons of garlic powder, about a half a cup of soy sauce. Let's try to get about a cup of brown sugar if I can. So we have about a cup of brown sugar. That's going to go into the mix. Last but not least, about 2 cups of teriyaki sauce. Which the bottle is just shy of 2 cups. We're going to let this all get to know each other while everything's boiling up there. Give it a little stir. Let this kind of get married together. Now here's the thing about jerky seasoning. There are just so many ways to do it. You go online, you can find millions of recipes. You can go to the store and buy packages of pre-made jerky recipes or jerky mixes. It's just so easy to make your own. I mean, give it a try. So we'll work this a little bit. We'll check on our mushrooms. As soon as they're done, we'll be on to the next step. Okay folks, we've got our mushrooms out, been letting them cool a little bit. Now we got to get them all strained. So this can take me a little while. One thing you want to do for sure is save this liquid. This is so full of flavor, so full of vitamins, good stuff like that. A lot of good medicinal compounds in there. Save that water. Use it in soups, stocks. You know, there are just countless uses. Let me work on this a minute and we'll take on to the next step. Okay, now we've let these cool down a little bit. You're going to want some gallon Ziploc bags. And just try to get them all in there. If they're too hot to touch, it just might be too hot for the bag, so you know, be mindful of that. I want to talk a little bit more about the marinade recipe. You know, what I use, a lot of times people add some soy sauce, quite a few different dry ingredients. Most of the time I wait on the salt, pepper flakes, anything like that. That's the last thing that goes on when it goes either in a dehydrator or in a smoker. If you don't have a smoker, you can use a little liquid smoke, but be sparing, that stuff is really strong. So it'll take me a couple minutes, but let me get this part done. I'll be right back to you. Now we're going to let all the air out of the bag. Kind of just squeeze it around, then zip it up. That's really going to help get those liquids where you want them. And while this is in the fridge, I'm going to turn it periodically. Make sure everybody gets a good coating of that marinade. You'll go in overnight. Next step is either a dehydrator or a smoker. Stick with us, we'll find out in the morning. Whatever you do, make sure you hang on to the liquid. I'm going to put this into quart jars. We can put it in the fridge for a week or so, but that's plenty of time to make some stew, to make some soups. But man, this is just, well, take a look. Just dark, rich, beautiful tasting liquid. Absolutely save it. So we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, it's the next day. I've been marinating these overnight. I've turned them quite often. Get all that good stuff through there. So let's get these things on the smoker. And I'm not going to just smoke them. I'll smoke them for a few hours and then I'll move them off to a dehydrator to finish the job. So let me move that camera around, show you how we set up the smoker. Get everything sprayed down a little bit. So let's get this rolling. Okay, first up, spray everything down good. This is a butter flavored no stick spray. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that, but we got some thunder coming in, so it's going to be a little trickier, but it'll still smoke. When you start spreading these out, you can really pack it in because these things shrink like crazy. You get across the back here. You know, try not to have them too overlapped. Just spread them out however you like. I'm going to save some of the bigger ones to fill in front. Push my rack back. I'm going to take some of these big guys. We don't have to worry about them falling through the grill. Okay, got everything arranged. Got some good hardwood charcoal going. That's my preferred method all the time. Kept this side pretty empty because I don't want them to be right over the heat. We want to be running this fairly cool, like 120, 130 degrees tops. We just want a lot of smoke. but we need a little airflow to help dry these out. These guys are going to shrink up amazingly, but they're going to come out so tasty. We'll stop by after a bit, check on them, and as soon as they're ready, we'll move them over to a dehydrator, and that'll be the end of the job. Well, hey guys, I had to make a mad dash. We had a good little downpour come down. You can still see a few raindrops coming. So we had to hit pause before I'm done. Got some good smoke rolling. Okay, when you're at this point, this is where I add my spices. I don't do that in the marinade. I want to put my salt, black pepper, maybe red pepper flakes. I want to do that last. And I've tried pink salt. Didn't like the use I got. But yeah, you just literally want to get in there and give everybody a real good shot of salt. When I come back after a bit, about an hour or so, I will flip these and salt the other side too. You need to make sure you're using non-iodized salt. Iodine causes too many problems. But anyway, one of the big things with salt in any kind of jerky, the salt is a desiccant, which means it helps remove moisture. Use it to dry out meat, dry out leather. You name it. It really helps pull out the moisture of everything. It seems like a lot is going to fall off. And of course it adds some flavor. Now, normally I'd fill in, I'd be hitting this with black pepper, but I want to keep this real mild. I do have a tendency of making things a little bit too hot. I make them to my taste, and a lot of my friends just don't like that. So, whew. Of course that smoke's blowing right at me. So well, let's come back in a couple hours, visit this, flip it over, and then finish it off. Okay, we're about 2 hours in. Time to flip everything, give it a little more salt, and get that smoke rolling again. Make sure when you flip things, spread them out enough, and just keep the salt going. It shouldn't be too hot. We are cooking around 120, 130 degrees. So let me finish this up. We'll be back in a bit. Just one real quick tip, guys. Any of these dehydrators, that heat coming up, you know, this one will blow up from the bottom, you know, it's all sorts of designs. You're never going to get the heat and the airflow the same all the way through. So every couple of hours, just come in and do a little shuffle. Not a big deal. Change things up. Move anything around that you think, anything that's thick, not getting there, move it to a tray that's drier. Really simple to do. So let's get that on and we'll see you when it's done. Well, good morning, folks. What a wonderful morning it is. That rain has passed us by. I had to pull these off. Had them on the smoker for 3-4 hours at least. But we started getting some rain, and you know, it started getting a little dark here, and I'm trying to film. But anyway, I will pull them off the smoker, finish them off in the dehydrator, just to be safe. So let's recount the process. We're making a meatless jerky with an enhanced level of vitamin B2 just by nature. We take the mushrooms, sun-dried them for quite a while, 2 days, on a window screen in the broad sun, full view. There's a chemical in there called aragostol. That's a precursor to D2. UV light turns that into the vitamin. So with that done, we took the mushrooms then, cooked them for 10 minutes in boiling water, just to be safe. Whatever kind of mushroom you use, period, you need to cook it. Just, you got to be safe. So after it's cooked, strain those off, get them strained as much as we can, put them back into Ziploc bags. Actually, it was 2 Ziploc bags down from the original 4. Things will shrink down. Anyway, marinate that like I did with the teriyaki recipe. Use your own recipe. It doesn't really matter what recipe you use. Any beef jerky, venison jerky recipe will definitely work with mushrooms. It's pretty much all the same. It's just a marinade. So very simple. After that, go on the trusty smoker and smoke them for 3-4 hours to get that good smoky flavor coming. And of course, you saw we started getting a little rain. Not a big deal, but I always take them off anyway and finish them on a dehydrator. I want to make sure everything is uniformly dry, and I like to get mine really dry, right at the edge of being crunchy. Not quite crunchy, but right at the edge. Need to store them in a Ziploc bag, keep it sealed, because that salt on there is going to catch some moisture from the atmosphere, and you don't want that. You don't want it to get moldy in there either. So dry as you can in a Ziploc bag, and if you want, you can add some of those packets you can buy in the store in the canning section that help remove moisture from bags. Pretty simple stuff. So it's a very easy recipe. No meat jerky. I've given it to a lot of friends of mine. They totally expect any jerky I make to be from venison or beef. I rarely use beef. We usually lots of venison, whether it's deer or elk or whatnot. And when they taste the mushroom jerky, they don't get it. Most of them never know it's not jerky from venison unless there's a shape, you find a little mushroom shape, like a frond. That's kind of a dead giveaway. But the thing is, it has a texture, it has a grain like meat does. So you still get by with that. And it is absolutely delicious. You're going to love this stuff, I promise you. So, give it a try. Oh man, that's good. Give it a try. Let me know in the comments if you do. Tell me how you like it. If you use a different recipe, let me know. That'd be fun to find out. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something, that you'll hit that like button, and if you're not a subscriber, we sure hope you do. I'm a small channel. Every little bit helps, and it doesn't cost you a thing. So, I'm going to see you on down the trails, so go give it a go. You're going to have fun doing it. Thank y'all.